They say to write what you know, and I at least know that Doctor Doom's tiger is named Gunther, so maybe I'll start there. I've tried my hand at a few podcasts in the past, but this is my first solo effort. Because I knew that I'd be starting this channel on my own, I'd figured that I'd treat it more as a kind of comic documentary focused on navigating Doctor Doom's role as he exists in the comics specifically. If you know a little about the character or a lot, I hope that this series proves to be amusing because for me, it's just an excuse to read comics. In turn, my promise is to try and make sure that these episodes cover at least four things. Number one, does this add to the lore of Doom? I.e., does what I'm covering actually document something important for the character that will matter beyond just the issue or issues being covered? One example of this would be how Ben Grimm mangled Doom's hands. Some things become pivotal reference points for Doom, things that other writers will call back to again and again. Another example is covering how Doom was, briefly, college frenemies with Reed Richards, and that Reed was aware of Doom's bizarre experiments, which blew up in his face. Number two, does this add to the pivotal understanding of Doom in the Marvel comic universe? As in, is this event something that is 100% important to understand concerning how Doom's history has evolved? One example of this would be that, for example, you should know how Doom stole the powers of the Silver Surfer, or that Doom played a key role in the Secret Wars series. Now, where this differs from the lore series of videos is that those in the pivotal series would focus on plots and story arcs, whereas the lore content might be more micro focused. Now, sometimes there might be a video tagged as one which is both pivotal and lore specific. So, for example, I might want to examine the many different ways that Reed and Doom's college experiences have been portrayed across many comics, which would make it both a pivotal and a lore series video. Number three, firsts. This one is a tag that I feel has a smaller use, but could result in some fun playlist content over time. I'm actually always interested in the first time Doom tries something, such as, for example, the first time Doom is depicted in trying to contact the Netherworld to save the soul of his mother. Another example might be the first time Doom faces off against the Avengers. Things like that. Things that are the first instance where something iconic that Doom, has done is actually shown in a particular issue. Finally, number four, analysis. I think that videos like this would be fewer than the others, but might perhaps recap different decades of Doom's appearances or address something about the character that might not fit into the context of other videos. For example, I'd like to make something documenting the idea that Reed and Doom are often depicted as being reflections of one another. While these video ideas are at present of this recording only ideas, I hope that this can give you some glimpse into the kind of content that I'd like to make. There are obviously a lot of characters in the tapestry of Marvel Comics I could have decided to explore, but I went with Doctor Doom because I'm fascinated by his evolution. He started as a kind of generic masked foe that harassed the Fantastic Four, but then he's become this pivotal figure in the literal reshaping of the Marvel comic universe on literally numerous occasions. He's been depicted as a villain with duplicitous and vile tendencies, but he's also, usually kind of referenced as an honorable anti hero. He's tried to kill the Fantastic Four at this point as many times as he's actually saved their lives. The way writers have handled him amuses me, and so, because of that amusement, I want to preserve what I know and share it. Comics can be an intense hobby to get into because of simply how many there are. Trying to navigate all the appearances of a character can be daunting and even expensive, so I hope that this content can help somebody who may want to explore things about this character without having to worry about the time and monetary requirements to appreciate, what Doom is. One thing that I do want to try and do is document where the appearances of Doctor Doom that I reference actually come from. That way, if the story seems interesting, you can buy those works for yourself. I will tell you right now that anyone even remotely interested in Doom should buy and read Triumph and Torment. Do it. I am very aware of, and even in a kind of debt to, YouTube creators such as Rob Jefferson of Comics Explained and Ben Potter of Comicstorian. Those channels and those kind of content are obviously very, very good. You should obviously go check those things out. This content channel kind of idea is at best perhaps sort of an auxiliary set of materials to the work already put forth by those creators. Where I hope my own content differs is that I want to document what I consider to be a very interesting existence of just one character, as opposed to the wholesale tapestry of many ongoing comics. The works of the content creators I mentioned has been very foundational in my own understanding of what comic documentary kind of content can look like, so I absolutely need to credit their work in particular. All right, so as far as an introduction goes, that's it. I hope that in the future that I can start documenting the exciting history of Doctor Doom for you and letting you see all the fascinating things about him that, different writers have already archived, but from a different perspective. If any of this interests you, let me know in the comments what issues you hope that I cover, what Doom stories do you appreciate, and if there are any points that you want this channel to cover. All right, that's it. Goodbye, everyone.